Welcome to Church Experience Leadership Training with Brandon Bruce. Our vision is to train up godly leaders who will help more people experience a full life in Jesus Christ. So let's jump into this month's leadership training.
Hey leaders, today we want to talk about the very important topic of leadership neglect. You know, the Bible tells us to run in such a way as to get the prize, and we want to help you win at whatever it is you're leading, whatever group, whatever team, whatever responsibility that you're carrying, we want you to win as a leader. You know, every vehicle requires maintenance in order for it to run properly. Every car, it has a maintenance system, a maintenance checklist for things that need to run properly, especially a high-performance race car. Think about it, a high-performance race car, it's got a team, and that team is very diligent pre-race to go through and make sure the fuel levels are good, to make sure the brakes are working properly, to make sure every aspect of the engine is working right, and that they have all their tools in the pit so that they can fix the vehicle if there's a crisis. See, it's very important that they don't neglect any of these seemingly small things so that they can win a big race. You know, our lives are the same as leaders. There's a lot of things that we can so easily neglect and that can sideline us from winning at our race in leadership. For example, a leader, just like a race car, can just be less efficient and they can cross the finish line but not win. And we want you to fulfill your full potential. And so you don't want to neglect things as a leader for that reason. And not in addition to being less efficient, we want to flame out. We don't want to flame out and fail. We don't want to burn out from exhaustion and just being tired and wanting to give up. And in the same way that a race car requires maintenance, your life as a leader requires maintenance so that you don't flame out, so you don't burn out, so that you don't finish less than victorious in your race. And so I want to ask you three very important questions for you to reflect on yourself. First question is this: am I neglecting my team? Every race car driver has a team. They have a crew in the pit. They have a coach, and they need that team. They'll tell you that team is so important to help them win the race, and you need a team as well. Don't try to lead alone. You need people around you. And most leaders have a team. They have people around them, and that team, though, requires you to diligently check in with them and encourage them, uplift them, help them become better at what they're doing so they can win at it, but not just on the field, but off the field, in their personal lives. See, the Bible tells us in Proverbs 27, verse 23, "Be sure you know the condition of your flocks and give careful attention to your herds." It's so important that we're diligent in checking in with our team, caring for our team, loving on our team, making them better. So how's that coming these days? Are you being diligent with your team? Are you caring about them? Are you spending time with them? Second question I want to ask you is, are you neglecting your personal systems? You know, a race car has a lot of systems that make it work. There's fuel levels and oil levels. There's tire pressure. There's a lot of systems. In fact, they have a checklist the team will go through pre-race to make sure that it's all in working condition. And in your life as a leader, you have a lot of systems that help you carry responsibility. So I check my personal calendar and task list every day when I wake up and before I go to bed at night. And I want to be on top of all the events that I need to be at and all the list of things that I need to accomplish. And I'm diligent to try to keep them in order of priority because I know I can't get them all done. So I want to do the first things first. You know, you have a long list of things that are required of you to carry responsibility, especially if you have significant leadership responsibility. So are you maintaining those things, or are you doing as some leaders do, that getting off into a side project, being distracted, or are you staying focused? Focused on what you need to do to accomplish the leadership goal that God's given you. You know, as leadership author John Maxwell, who was at a conference, and there was 2,000 people in attendance, and he was speaking on leadership, and afterwards he was at a book table signing books, and a young guy came up to him, and he said, "Hey, John, I would love to do what you do." And John looked around, and he could tell this guy was enamored by his success and how profitable it was, and he saw the long list of people waiting at the book table for their signatures, and John looked at him trying to be helpful, and he said, "I know you would like to do what I do, but are you willing to do what I've done so that I can do what I do?" You know, a lot of people get excited about the idea of accomplishing things and being a leader, but are you willing to do what it takes to be diligent? You know, again, in Proverbs, it tells us in Proverbs chapter 12, verse 11, that those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense. Are you being diligent to work the land God's given you? Are you being diligent with what it is that He's put in front of you? The final, most important question is this: am I neglecting time with my coach? Am I neglecting time with Jesus? See, every race car driver will tell you how indispensable their coach is for victory, to help them win their race. And you have a coach, and you have the best coach ever. You have Jesus on your side. So are you neglecting time with Him? Or are you leaning into his strength and his power as you lead? How do you know if you're doing that or not? Well, the Bible tells us in Galatians chapter 5, it tells us there's this fruit of the Spirit, the byproduct of following Jesus and living for him, and these 9 qualities that should be evident in your life as you lead. So love and joy, peace and patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. These things should be more evident in your life every year as a leader. You should be more loving than you were last year. So do you love your team more than ever before, or are you just focused on the task in front of you? Are you more patient with people when they let you down or when they drop the ball? Are you joyful? Are you finding satisfaction in what you're doing? Are you at peace in your heart? See, these things should be evident the more that we follow Jesus, and I hope that they're evident in your life as a leader. So are you neglecting time with your coach? I want you to think about these 3 areas we've talked about today. Are there any of them that you're neglecting? Is there any one of these aspects you need to shore up so that you can lead better? How are you doing with your team? How are you doing with your personal systems? How are you doing with your coach? I hope that you'll lead effectively and diligently in all 3 of these areas so that together we can lead on.
Thanks for watching this month's Leadership Training with Brandon Bruce. If you're not familiar with our ministry, you can learn more at churchexperience.tv.